Good morning. We are back again. This is QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. Thank you very much for tuning in wherever you're watching this program. And it's a pleasure to be here. To our viewers, those that follow us on our social media handles, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. We are saying we are very happy connecting with you, and for those that send their contributions as well. The likes of brother Ibrahim Jawara, he is always consistent in following this program this morning, because sometimes he will send me a couple of messages and tell me, Balde, I'm following. Or Balde, I can't access QTV for now. Can you do this and that? Or you can put us on alert if the TV is online again. Yeah, so thank you for always doing that. And I am with Mr. Momodu Mboch as the co-host of this program. Mr. Mboch, good morning. How are you?
I'm here.
I'm going sometimes buti mun nañu ubé ko feka ewulo. Man sa daf ma dal.
Okay.
Doyalulo nelaw or something.
Well, just speak for yourself.
No, I'm trying to generalize it. Mr. Mboy, gis nga dama bëgg nga xam leen. Kii man may laaj question si te yow da nga answer.
Well, I'm a co-host.
But this is my platform.
Granted.
This is my platform na kum neex na hari.
Granted. Well, then go share. You are calling me a co-host. I'm not a guest.
Wow, a co-host
I'm not right. I've got my rights.
Waaw, am nga right. Waaye dafa xaar ba ma wax ba pare suma daanele den nga jël. How have you been, my good uncle?
As always, son. I'm all right. Alhamdulillah.
Nice. So sitting at the far opposite, that's Usman Jata with the suit. That young door you nice na. Gis na China mung la living low there. The scene guy. Usman, good morning.
Good morning.
How have you been, brother?
Alhamdulillah, I'm surviving, and it's great to be part of the platform. You know, it's always interesting to join you on board.
I watched a couple of weekend review. With I think with you. There was a time with you
with
Adi.
We've done a few.
Yes, very interesting. Usman Jata, watching you analyze some of the stories is really inspiring. I want to be like you.
Yeah. We just try and actually we're learning from your likes. At least you have been doing a lot, which is important. I think that is our job. We should try to make sure that we analyze every detail. We allow the public to be the judge. Yeah.
Allow the public to be the judge. On the program, we'll take a look at the African Code. From the code, we will be talking to Pate Sow, Chief Operating Office, Electricity Business Unit, NAWEC, and Modu Lamin Somposise, Department Managing Director, NAWEC as well. On the power outage. Mr.
Is it department or deputy?
Deputy.
Deputy Managing Director.
We should know how to abbreviate sometimes. Abbreviation sometimes. Abbreviate.
Yes, I know.
If you say DPT,
exactly.
So on a DBT, department la So the man is reading from what he's given. So you have to. But also you should put one and no. There's nothing like department.
It's not a surprise. It's
I'm thinking like Mr. Mboch now.
See?
Yeah. So
it's a fuller reading, so it's not a surprise that you would find yourself in trouble.
Deputy Managing Director now. So it's important for us to talk about the power cuts. Yesterday around 9 p.m. I was at home and I was talking to Francis. We were discussing the running order. And when I called him to send him a topic, and he said to me, boy, light just went off, boy. I said to him, for me, the light is here. It didn't go yet. You understand? So there are areas that are not getting light, as usual. I don't know the reason, so they will clarify, Mr.
And let's be accurate here. they're getting light, but they're getting power cuts.
Power cuts, yes.
It will come on for a while, and there's a power
go.
cut. There's load shedding, isn't it, around? Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I heard about a timetable that we need to discuss, because they got a timetable where a certain area will not have today. And, you know, we don't want to go back to those days, I mean, the Jammeh days, where you have power for 2 days.
I think it's important that they will be on the show today to clarify, because it's not about Jammeh days, it's about the global problem.
No.
The global energy market is in trouble, and we all know the reason for that. It's just that it's an opportunity for us, and these challenges have existed, and we should learn from it. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So they will be here to, I mean, clear the air. Yes, so let's, we'll also be talking to Imam Usman Jah. Imam Jah, you go by the Mr. Mboj. Mom. Imam Jah, and your topic is going to be staying on deen as a young Muslim today.
But earlier on, you were just telling me that this is your program. You ask the questions.
I can
so
give you,
continue.
I can give you directives. You handle Imam Usman Jah. Go buy a platform. You have to.
He's going to give me directives.
I like the topic. It's so cool.
Yeah, so we will be discussing that. So the proverb: the sun does not rust, yet it never misses the day. Mr. Mamadou Mboj. What a nice proverb.
Absolutely. The sun does not rush, yet it never misses the day.
Xam nañ ne naaj bi su ñëwee ba 3 p.m. xam nañ fu mu dee nekka. 3 p.m. su jotee. naaj bi foofu la moo nekka. Understand nga. Su demee ba 6 xam nañ ne naaj bi dafa fii laa nekka. Naaj bi moom is consistent. Te du dee yaakamti. And the day passes, it never misses a day.
Absolutely. Let's invite our guest.
Yeah, it's a very interesting quote, and I really like it because, you know, for me, it reflects my life. I live my life based on what I have. I'm content with what I have. I don't live other people's life. So it's a very important one. What it tells is like people grow at their own time, and even if you try to force it to some extent, you will struggle. It's like both the moon and the sun, you know, they both shine, but they shine at different times, you know. So it tells a lot about living a life, you know, that you can contain, you know, not rushing things, not trying to force yourself to get to a level which you cannot get to some extent. It may take you time, you know, it comes with time, as they would say, like Rome was not built in a day. So, you know, it's a gradual process, and it's important for you to know your risks. It's important to calculate the risk. Is very, very important, because what I may be able to do and what Mr. Balde or Mr. Mboj can do is different. You know, we have different expertise, different resources, different experiences. So all of that adds up to our lives. So it's important as a human being, like to live up to that like level. Don't say, you know, what the public will say. If you think about the public, you'll put yourself in trouble. If you can wear flip-flops, wear flip-flops. Yeah. That is what you can afford. And just be grateful.
Jatta, you know, the past 2-3 years, I've come to realize something. You know, I cannot live my life for people. I cannot live my life to impress people. You know, I live according to what I can do. I don't mind. Who's doing better than me? I don't mind. Yeah. At the end of the time, I just try to push and do my thing. You understand? But you will lose your peace if you want to compare yourself to everybody.
I think that's the word of the day, man.
If a person gets something and you want to get it, you understand? If a person gets an iPhone 17 Pro Max, you want to get that iPhone, while your budget is an item.
You become restless.
You understand? So you become restless. It's not your mental health. You know, it exhausts you. It drains your energy. You keep pushing. Even the little finances that you have to invest it, and other commitments are behind. So you can see you have to be able to balance your needs and your wants as an individual. You know, I don't care who is doing better than you. Just try and keep pushing. Just don't be stagnant at one place. Make sure you are moving, even when it's going to be a step by step.
As the wall of saints.
Yes. You don't have to hurry. I think this is really what it is. It's not about speed. It's about consistency. Being persistent, following a rhythm, as an individual, you've got your own rhythm, and issues as well, in many ways, have their own rhythm. You follow that. You know, naka lañ ko dee waxee njëkk a feature taxuta moome géew. Isn't it? It's very, very similar. So it's not about speed, you know, suñu dara rek nga jóg daw def.
Wow.
So
Empty barrel. Sometimes you make a lot of noise. Why fake output be tuuti la. Gis nañ loolu. Xam nga. What is more important, comme no ko waxee, consistency. Nga consistent in whatever you do. You understand? Bul musa ba, just keep pushing gradually. Ñun yëpp gis nañ. We have seen examples yoo xam ne du jee. You know, so buggee ros, at the end of the time, you will miss it. At the end of the time. So, it's important pour doomi adama jël life ndanka. You fi def ndanka yep dañ ko mi. Look at most they'll take my Fulani people as a sample. Nga ñu ne Paul bi mu fi ñëwé mu ngay jaay guru. Légui mu ngay jaay minti. Légui mu ngay indi ay living. There is a guy ko xamne koku pousse nen la doon def si mu li fi nii mu pousse marché Banjul pousse nen loolu la doon jaay ni di pousse but now ay 40 feet container nen la day indi and pousse nen loolu pousse na ko nit ñi loolu lañ ko xamee for many years munoon naa ne lii coono la waaye gis léegi ay 40 feet container nen la day indi almost fii ku fi lekka nen tey bokk na si nen yum indi.
te gis nga Mr. Mbodj dafa wax lu am solo like consistency, which is like the biggest problem of most people. Like being consistent is very difficult, it's hard, but once you master that art, you are successful because you get to control your life. Kon niñ ko dee waxee rek like ndanka moo dee jàpp gaynde ngool because like monkeys are very quick, so if you don't take your time.
waaye gis nga that being in that moment of patience ak ndanka feeling boobu neexul dafa métti understand nga dafa métti nga gis loo bugga waaye munuloo koo am waaye xam nga ne munuma koo am because I did not get to that level. It's hard understand nga you know that gis nga soo munee master muñ boobu noonu loolu mooy discipline bi that is what is going to discipline you in such a way boo xam ne yow after sa life bi daf dee smooth because soo ko master nga overcome that feeling that desire rek
More Allah says in the Quran, He is with the patient. Because the thing is, like sometimes, like life is like a trial. Like Kuneka, we have our own trials. Maybe the wealth, that is a trial of its own. Like how do you spend it? How do you deal with it? Like maybe you're not given wealth, you know. So you have to learn to be patient, you know, and understand that, like you are in a process, and the process will end. Once it has started, it will end someday. If maybe you're dange doh problem ligay. Eventually, with time, you will have your own car. So life happens, you know, at different times.
So it's a gradual process.
That's it.
I mean, I'll tell you something. Lo hamne, fi sumako wahud ñu bari duñ ko xam. Hanga ne man there was a time, buma ñëwé fi, dama doon pedal bicycle. I cycled.
Wow.
From Lamen, you know my home?
Yeah.
Wow. Cycle from Lamen, ma ñëw be QCell. Then I was with the QCell marketing department. Cycle la de def.
Wow.
I cycled from Lamen, Babylon, almost every day for many years. Dama yow ma park sama bicycle ma lock ko ma ñëw liggéey. But it's because of the love I have for the job. And Hamga, there is no other way, but that's the only way to do.
Not only the job, but the passion to succeed.
Wow. Yeah. So that's how you do it. Why? Gradually, that's how I change. Why over time?
Yeah.
Understand? So Lola, that is life.
Indeed.
Yes, Mr. Mamadou Mbodj will take a short break. After the break, then we'll delve into the newspapers. We are happy to have Mr. Usman Jatta here. Why amut jabar nak? Dafa wara am jabar ma ngene jang hay yep nañ apply dañ ko buga me
poli ñoma reject
no dañ na me so we'll be right back. So This is QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Balde. If you are just tuning in, thank you very much for always following. And if you are tuning newly, this is QTV This Morning, a program where we discuss social issues, community watch, and of course, we also deal with some of the stories on our Gambian newspapers, and we also go beyond our borders to look at stories that are making headlines. And of course, we are broadcasting from the Gambia, West Africa, Serekunda. And now let's take a look at some of the stories on the papers. And we have the Observer 24. Barrow leads 2026 race as opposition struggles for momentum polls.
No, for momentum. That's what polls say. So you've got that.
Momentum. Yes, polls.
So Barrow is leading, is it? According to the polls, apparently. So what does it mean? And then the second part, though, as opposition struggles for momentum. So do you get the sense that the opposition is struggling for momentum? Because recently there was an Apex coalition.
Yes.
It appears as if they're trying to come together under a common platform. So we'll see how that one would pan out, how it will unfold. So now, wow, that's an interesting one.
I think it's an interesting one for the fact that it's a poll, it is a survey. Sometimes surveys, like you will say, when we argue, you know, they are just, you know, surveys actually. But the thing is, like Gambians will decide come December because, you know, there is a lot happening, and the election, in most cases, should be based on the issues, things that are happening, you know, based on delivery and what people expect. I know a lot is happening actually, so no one knows what will happen tomorrow because, you know, there are many factors as well, you know, one could consider. You know, there are so many like late voters or undecided voters, all is happening. But I know in the trend in the Gambia in most cases is that the incumbent always stand the chance of winning an election due to certain, you know, like privileges, one could say, like in terms of projects and other stuffs, you know. But it's an election, anyone can win. But with regards to the opposition struggling, like in both mentioned the issue of like coming together to form a coalition, you know, the leadership might be the problem. Who is going to be the leader? You know, that is that's going to be the main question. I know in 2026 it was not a problem because the motive was Jammeh has to go, and that has been met. But this time round, it's a different case. Everyone wants to lead. So who will lead is the question. And in doing so, Barrow could just bypass them.
It depends. You know, as a leader, I mean, you have to buy the confidence of the people.
Indeed.
When I talk about buying confidence, it's not financial means. I am trying to put across, you have to deliver as you promised, you understand. You know, some will tell you, okay, he delivered. He is doing the things that he promised. Let's take a look at electricity, for example. Let's take a look at the road infrastructure. Let's take a look at digitalizing some of the you know, things that we have in our offices to make sure we try to mitigate and muffle financial leakages, you know. So those are all the things that are part of the infrastructure. Like Mr. Mose, you mentioned, infrastructure is not only roads, you know, but putting the system into the right position, the right direction, so that even tomorrow, if you leave, someone will come and find the right structure. You understand? Most of these communities in the Gambia, they don't care who is the president of the country. All they want is who is going to deliver at the end of the time. We have seen the villages that have been disconnected due to road networks in the past, and now all these villages are connected. So if you base your survey based on that, you understand, of course, Barrow is going to get the momentum above all of
but
I'm not so sure about that. You've said so much in there, almost like you've got this romantic view of people that we will sit there and rationally consider, oh, he's built this or he's built that. I think really the reason people vote or what influences how people vote is how they feel in their pocket.
Yeah.
Food, my purchasing power of what I have in my pocket. So it's very complex.
Pocket infrastructure.
Be careful, it's really very complex why people vote this way or vote that way. I've even met certain people is based on ethnicity, never mind what you do. So people vote for all sorts of reasons.
Well, I think we are doing away with ethnicity.
He has
gradually.
Yes.
We are doing away with it. I mean, I think people are now understanding what it really means to have your vote as an individual.
Why do you think that? Based on what?
Well, I cannot tell you the statistic, but I can tell you now people are becoming more voter educated than before.
To some extent, because we're looking at like the availability of platforms, social media platforms, and I would call them also like citizen journalism as well. But the point that Mboj is raising, though it's important actually, but it is also important to understand that most of these communities, like this is the first time seeing real-time infrastructure like that. So the thing is, it will capture some portion of the votes, like it will capture it. But you also have to understand that we have also got another group of Gambians, young Gambians, Gen Z generation of the country, who are opting for change, system change. You have mentioned about infrastructure, like in terms of roads, in terms of digitalization. It is important. But when it comes to like, some people believe there is widespread corruption and there is a need like to restructure like the system to make sure that like we have got like an independent judiciary, a thriving like a parliament that will, make laws that aligns with the wishes of people like who put them in parliament. So there's a lot happening right now. Now, even in the case of electricity, we have seen the president come out, mention about the 90% electrification. So it's like the country is really trying in terms of electrification, but the quality, is it there? It's a question. So most people are struggling having quality energy. So is the government making plans or like doubling efforts to turn to renewable energy despite global challenges? We know the global energy market is in trouble, but it's still like it's an opportunity as a country we should go. We have got like a God-given natural resource, the sun. So there's a lot involved.
Well, I am pretty sure. I mean, they are looking down that line to make sure, we transform from maybe fossil fuel to renewable energy. I believe that should be the wish of every government. As far as the finance, we have seen now how struggling countries are becoming when it comes to finances. So it will be important to do that.
Sure.
But it is also important for us not to recognize, some of the things that have been happening. We've been here. I mean, for people like me, I've been here during Jawara's time. And I've been here during Yahya Jammeh's time. And now I've witnessed Barrow's time. You understand? So I copy and contrast as well. So I understand how development is during those days, yesterday.
There's a huge gap.
He doesn't understand much about Jawara's period.
But the thing is,
we should be very careful with what you say. You are a child. You have not read it.
No, I was in the child. I was
too young.
I was going to primary school then.
What do you know at
Mr.
primary school?
I was going to primary
school then.
Despite the fact that like you have witnessed those periods.
No, I have felt at least that breeze of Jawara's time.
Despite the fact that you have witnessed those periods. But the thing is, there is something happening. Like each of these presidents have got a chance. They have got some like opportunities before them. And one could have said like Jawara sort of laid the foundation, Jammeh continued on that. But with Barrow is presented like with a special opportunity now. Like analysts suggest that like he has the best opportunity like to transform the Gambia to any level because of like where we were before and now it's quite different, the level of freedom, they like to execute certain things. So this is what most people are looking at, and I have been following the trend like from 2016 to date. like the 2026 election is going to be a very critical one, and it will look like the 2016 election, because like it's not only about development, but it's also about like integrity and trying to the third term beat. All of those things are involved. Like many people will raise the question, like should Barrow lead like for the next 5 years, or should another person come in? So a lot of things are happening, and all those things would really tell the outcome of the election.
Let's take a look at how let's see. Let's leave that to, we have months to go.
Yeah.
And a related thing about the energy, striking taxi drivers demand fair increment. It's the energy thing, isn't it?
I mean, recently I was at home, and I realized on our main highway there was a little commotion. And when I asked what's the problem, they said drivers are increasing fares from $15 to $20. You understand? So that's unofficial. It wasn't announced by either Transport Union or Ministry of Transport. So that was not the right thing to do. So that's a commotion.
I also witnessed something similar, because yesterday when going home, I paid 25 from Westfield to Lamin, which is like 20, but I've noticed a $5 increment. So
I mean, the control mechanism of these fares, it's important also for us to put it together. You know, drivers cannot just increase anytime they want.
Indeed.
You understand? They cannot do anything. And we've never seen fares decreasing. You know, it keeps increasing all the time. When it's 25, they will leave it at 25, except and until if they increase it to 30 again. Mr.
I doubt if
the
prices
last time
come
I just paid 25, asking $30 from traffic lights to Bruce Bay. I said to him, take me to the police. Wouldn't do that. So this is just taking advantage of the situation right now.
And I think this problem...
It's not a free market. The taxes and the fares they charge, it's not a free market. You just cannot do what you want to do. One of them, I asked him, when we were moving from $10 to $12, whose decision was that? It wasn't your decision. So I'm constantly hitting back, you know, pushing back against that. But that is it. Now they're increasing the fares, and the last time it was just $2 increment with the six-seat vehicles, or 7, but with the 4, $3. So with them now they want to increase by 5. It will be interesting to see how the
problem about
union
increment in the country right now is the problem of like coins. Like whenever you add $2 to something, let's say like the bread now, when you go to the shops to buy bread for $12, they don't have change, and they will tell you, let me give you mint or so. So sometimes it becomes a problem. I think when there is going to be an increment, it has to be something that people can like get their change at the end of the day, because it's like an exploitation sort of. So I think that is something that should really be considered.
Well, I mean, I think the transport industry needs to be looked at. The Ministry of Transport and the Transport Union will come together.
Indeed.
Because we cannot keep having all these things. Probably it's easy for, it's easy for me or easy for another person to be able to do that. Yeah, so
let's move to another story.
Yeah, let's move to another.
What have you got there? Let me just open this first, and then.
Yeah, so let's take a look at this.
The Standard. Have you seen the Standard?
I am.
My fatty says J. Dabo. I'm hunting for relevance.
I don't know. I think this is a political statement.
Of course.
Knowing my father's history in the Gambia political scene, and J. Dabo also being a politician now for NUP party. Of course, we expect this from a political rival, I mean, to another politician.
It's like the battle of the strongest, but actually, as the saying goes, what you sell is what sells you, actually. So I think, though Mai has the right, he has the right to his opinion to say whatever thing he wants, actually. But the thing is, from records, from what has been happening, like J. Dabo has really like grown. He has really won a lot of cases. So that alone, is taking him to another level. Though, despite the fact that he has got like a political background and he has ambition to, further. But you look at his work, the people he has been like fighting for, like he has always like stood for, like people. Most people like see in society as victims, like the Usainu Bojang case and the Vale case and other cases. So those cases will propel him. But I think beyond that, it's just like
there is one thing I know.
Relevance.
J. Dabo is a very fine lawyer, and he represents people.
Sure.
And of course, he is one of the lawyers that you will call, and it will not even ring twice, and he will pick. You understand? You don't need a number for him to recognize your number to pick. Anytime you need him, when you call him, he pick. Because we got engagements with him. You understand? We've interviewed him here on several times, and sometimes you don't just judge the man, but listen to what comes out from his mouth.
Let's look at what is said here. It's important. Hunting for relevance. What does that mean? What kind of relevance? He's been taking cases, I think, with the Usainu Bojang and his sister, the recent case. He took the case. So legally, really, that relevance.
There is relevance.
So what does my Fati mean by hunting for relevance?
Maybe
really?
it's because of it all has to circle down to the Usainu Bojang case and the government, involving on the case, and J. Dabo also coming out and denying certain things.
I think when it comes to relevance as well, to some extent, we may not determine like what is relevant or like what qualifies it. But at this other end, it's like Gambians have the right to say like he's a good lawyer, he's that, and based on his performance. And that's it actually. I know as the Greek philosopher would say, man by nature is a political animal. Like basically what we do, everything we do it based on interest and just to satisfy our needs. But I think in this case we are looking at performance, and it's important to recognize people's efforts to some extent. It's important like for the growth of the country too.
Yeah, so Mr. Mboj, let's move on. I mean, what did the Vice President say? VP's office apologizes to teachers over salary remarks.
Indeed.
I didn't go through the story, but I saw something online, and I was like, okay, what did the Vice President say? Probably, Usman, you've gone through it, and you heard about it.
The VP was
as far as he, to an extent, his office apologizes to teachers.
The VP was trying to like cajole the teachers, but it's like it went like people like saw it, deeper, because it shows the level of frustration in the country, in the teaching area. Though there has been improvement.
What did he even say?
Like that, like most some teachers earn more than like MPs to some extent, which is a bit, I don't know. So, but you look at the gap is too much. Like the salary that MPs receive, they have got the allowances. Only their cloth allowance is more than the salary of some teachers, because their cloth allowance, their annual cloth allowance is 120,000, which is like monthly 10,000. So it shows the frustration, because I went through social media, I saw a lot of responses from individual teachers like making comments, and today, even this morning, I saw some still saying they cannot ignore the statement because it's too weird for them to stay quiet. So, but I think it's important that like he apologized, but beyond that, it's an opportunity, it's a lesson for the government to learn from it actually, because what MPs receive and what teachers received is quite different actually, and you look at the impact in society. These are the people teaching actually.
I thought he said some teachers.
Some teachers, yes.
Is that factually accurate? Because now I'm thinking of, imagine the high fee paying schools, what they're paying their teachers. Like for instance, CPEC or Marina, I don't know, high fee paying schools.
We are talking about public schools.
Calm down. He said some teachers. Yes? So let us be careful here. Yes? We all know that generally our teachers do not have that much pay. The Vice President, you think the Vice President doesn't know that? The Vice President was a teacher.
For sure, he was a
for
teacher.
a very, very long time. I remember him then. So let us get off this high horse and being so self-righteous and understand him.
In fact, in the apology, he mentioned that he did not like meant to create like to mislead the public also. It was just like this.
We are just being hypersensitive.
Yeah.
And then being so judgmental. People are just so judgmental about all sorts of things. Let us understand it in context and say that, of course, everybody, you want to lift the base.
It was
some of the teachers earning high. It
was a chance for them to release their their frustration to some extent. For the fact that like this is coming from someone like the second in command in the country. So it's something else. But I think it's an opportunity for the government to learn from it actually, because these are things they are not meant to be like.
It's about the vice president. I cannot tarnish the whole government learning anything. Let us be careful. It was something attributed to the vice president. Let us keep it targeted at that level instead of saying it's the government. I think that's a category error. We are making a terrible mistake there.
Well, that's your opinion.
Yeah. What's yours?
No, the VP works for the government, obviously. If
so therefore, whatever he says can be.
When the VP speaks, it's the government speaking.
So there is no personal capacity.
No. Of course, there is a personal capacity.
Then whenever the VP speaks, it's not necessarily government.
But
once
in this case,
he
is speaking. He is addressing National Assembly members. In this case, he's not speaking on his own.
He's speaking
his judgment.
On his.
It's not necessarily the government's judgment. How many times have we seen ministers will say something? It's not necessarily the same.
No, but the vice president is wearing the government's cap.
That is it.
You have to know that, Mr. Hamga. The vice president is not like any other person. When you see him, you think about the government. So that's why most of these officials, when they are saying something, they are saying it in the name of everybody.
Indeed.
That is not true. It is not all the time that officials of state, when they make certain statements, they are necessarily speaking on behalf of the government. It is not all the time that you get that.
Then why did he apologize?
Yes. And
because
why was
a lot of people were not happy with what he said.
And why was the letter addressed as from the office of the vice president?
Yes, the vice president is an individual.
It's a public office.
So you're missing my point. It is not all the time that whatever public officials say reflects the view of the government. It doesn't work like that. That will be too simplistic.
So now let's move on. Victims of April 2000 student killings demand justice reparations. Reparation committee was set.
Yeah.
To make sure these people are given their dues accordingly. We've invited the reparation committee, some of their team members here. So I know probably it's slow.
Yeah,
it's not usually it's not a very fast process.
Yeah.
But we will be there gradually.
Yeah, it's a gradual process.
Yeah.
It happens with time. It happens in phases, and you also have to develop certain documents to be in it's bureaucratic stuff. It's a government thing. You don't just jump like you said and just do things like that.
Absolutely.
I'm hopeful that with time it will happen, and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Mboj, reparations. Everybody's talking about it.
Reparations.
Not simply with our TRRC, even with the Atlantic slave trade. These days we talk about reparations in all contexts. Absolutely. When there's not much money and everything is slow, just as you said, the bureaucracy is really very slow. This is what you get constantly. You do have these victims coming out to say that things are slow. When are we going to facilitate, quicken the pace of it? Well, we are always complaining about lack of capacity, lack of this or lack of that, even with the prosecution, the tribunal. So, yes, one feels for the family, but we are in this situation now. When we only worried that gradually some of them will die. We'll never see justice. That's my worry, when things are so slow. Some of them
that's
will
another
just-
part of it.
So the government also freezes official foreign travel amid global crisis. I mean, I've seen that press release. Until and unless when this is a very urgent matter.
one, yeah.
So directives have also been given to the Director General of Immigration and his team to make sure let nobody be given an exit stamp to make sure these things are controlled. I mean, you see, these are all ways for us to be able to control our finances, you know, to be able to manage properly. You cannot just be traveling up and down, even sometimes things that are not even necessary. There are Zooms here. We can do Zoom meetings. COVID-19 have really proved that it's doable. So why are we wasting our resources for flight tickets and the hotel reservations? We can do certain, until and unless when the need arises, it's very urgent. And directives have also been given to some of the accountants, those that are responsible for paying per diems. That's the one for me. So it's important for us to control this at this time, Mr.
Yeah,
Jatta.
the world has evolved, like you said. There is high, like, digitalization, and some of these things could be done, like, online, and that's it. But I think, all in all, it's important because the world is facing a huge crisis, and it's important for us to manage our resources as a country. You know, though some still question, you know, what resources do we have, but it's important. The little resource that we have, we manage it as a country to find, you know, a way out. Because right now, most countries are in survival mode, and in survival mode means you have to be very careful about your expenditure and everything, you know. Yeah.
Mr. Boch, are you on survival mode?
It is not an individual question. It's a national thing.
Yes.
Right now in this country, some people are so rich, a lot of things they don't feel it.
Filthy rich.
Others are not so much. It's not an individual issue.
You know,
It's a national
you
issue.
know,
What
in
is
this
the country
country we have
feeling?
different categories. We have the,
Any country,
the
actually.
wealthy, filthy rich, rich and the chapter.
But do you know you can still be you can still be rich and still face challenges?
And still,
When there is
Obviously.
fuel scarcity, what do you do?
challenges are part of
Do
life.
you manufacture your own fuel?
Challenges are part of
So
life.
this is it. We face it together, though in different levels, but we all suffer at it, like at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is it. At any moment from now, we would be leaving this platform, and you know, our NAWEC is still warning us, about the long-term load shedding. I mean, you know, it's kind of you got power last night.
Yes.
Okay, your line seems to be stable. I'll tell NAWEC.
So the thing is, so the thing is,
What should we face?
NAWEC, most people think that NAWEC is trying to favor certain areas or certain people. That is not the case. Yesterday, it was made clear that, like, there are certain lines that are connected to critical areas, like water boreholes, you know, and you cannot allow the electricity to go down in those
I'm
areas.
connected to airport, so
There will be water shortage, and if there is water shortage, what will happen? It's going to be a double problem for us.
yeah.
And in hospitals, you know,
Yeah.
they have to operate.
exactly.
Yes, those
So,
areas.
I mean, to clarify that, we already have NAWEC in the studios. We'll take a short break. Mr. Jatta, thank you very much for reviewing the stories with us.
It was a pleasure.
And then we will be back.
Thank you.
Fastest growing network in the Gambia, now presents to you the eSIM. QCell's eSIM allows you to electronically scan a code and join the world of digital SIM cards. Customers with physical SIMs can easily switch to the eSIM as well. So rush now and get connected with an eSIM and start using the latest mobile technology with your trusted GSM operator. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sinubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Gambia, are you ready for something big?
From your trusted GSM operator, QCell, your favorite app just got a major upgrade.
From your phone to the world, buy credit, buy Sunu bundle packages, loan credit with eFankanta, and buy Q Power all in one place.
And here's the real upgrade. QMoney is now fully integrated in the app. Send money, pay bills, save money so faster and easier than ever.
And for our entertainment lovers, stream QTV, Q Radio Live anytime, anywhere.
But that's not all. This upgrade also brings enhanced security features, smoother performance, and a brand new interface designed to save your time.
This is more than an app.
This is freedom at your fingertips.
Download the new QCell app today and unlock your digital life.
For more information, call our customer care on 111.
QCell, Sunibus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Browse Bitus. QCell brings you a promo like never before. Get unlimited internet for just $25. Yes! Recharge $25 and enjoy the convenience of free internet from.
These tracks have become my wall, my arena of victory and fear. I relentlessly walk, push, strain, and stretched. Moments when every fiber of my being screams.
This is QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. Thank you very much for tuning in. Now let's move on to the third segment of this program, and we have Nawek in the studios. We have Sana Toure and of course Pate Sow, Chief Operating Office, Electricity Business Unit, Nawek. Gentlemen, it's good to have you. And the topic that we are going to discuss, it's a very significant one concerning at the moment on power cuts. So it will be important for us to clarify. But first of all, you are welcome on this program.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
We would like you to tell us what's your title.
Okay. Good morning, listeners. My name is Sana Toure. I'm the Group Corporate Services Director for Nawek.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for Pate Sow is under the Electricity Business Unit.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Yeah.
My name is Pate Sow. I'm happy to be here. I'm the operating officer for the Electricity Business Unit. Thank you.
Okay. It's, I mean, let's start with what is the current, what is causing the current power outages? Pate, Mr. Sow.
Presently, we have a deficit. Looking at our connected load presently, it's around 100 megawatt or 106 to be specific. And what is available presently is around 75% of that. And what we had to do, since there is a deficit, you have to load set to meet equitably distribute what is available. And this is what we are doing presently, in particular during the peak period.
Yeah. I don't understand. It's like what you are supplying, I mean, is less than what the population is asking for. Was this not put into consideration before you start distributing?
Yes, of course. You know, power generation is dynamic. What we are using presently is thermal plant, and also we have also importation from the region. And the power plant, some of them you have to shut down and then do your maintenance. A significant number of them are still on maintenance, and we were foreseeing by today at least some of the spare parts should have been here. But there has been delay. Some of them are stuck in Kuwait, and that has delayed some of the engines, 2 of the engines coming back, and this has created one of the bottleneck. The other bottleneck is the obstacle or the constraint that we have on the import. You know, we are interlinked with the region, that is through WAP or MVG all the way here, and presently we are in the dry season, and most of the energy that we are importing are hydro. And you know, hydro during the rainy season, you have a lot of it, but during the dry season, because there is less water, and that being the case, what they are pumping is also below our requirement. But the serious issue is our plant that should have been here available to cover up that gap, because we have planned, because we know very well the hydro that we are importing, by this time will be lower. And then the deficit, that deficit should have been complemented by our own. Yes, the solar plant is there. During the day, you can see the outage is minimal. We have 15 extra. But during peak period, because the solar is not operating during peak period, and this is where our problem is. Gambia, our load profile is purely domestic. You can see most of the loads are high during the peak period when all our customers are in the house watching TV and the like. So this is what caused most of these issues, and we had to resort to load shedding.
I'll just ask you, but you can come in.
Yeah.
Mr. Sow, are you saying that our current difficulties is because of what's going on right now? Middle East issue, the current supply chain disruptions we're having. Are you saying that our problems are now attributed or attributable to what is going on right now?
Yes, indeed. Sana can elaborate on his procurement.
So certainly that's one of the reasons, and we can clearly attribute it to that, because globally, Gambia lives in that global world. We are not isolated. We are not standing alone. Whatever we get in terms of material-wise, obviously all comes out of the country. So that would be spare parts, materials, useful materials, to maintain the power plants to and our transmission and distribution network as well. So all these materials will come from abroad. So currently, we are all very much aware the Strait of Hormuz is closed. Red Sea is having a problem. Most of the time now, shipping lines would use through the Cape of Good Hope, to ship through, to come to the country here, to come to various countries, So, and that is very expensive. We've seen that clearly shipping costs have skyrocketed. But again, the associated delay that goes with that is quite very significant. So that is one of the delays he is talking about, that some of the parts are hauled up, all the way in Dubai. They cannot come. Sometimes we airlift some of these items to come, but you can see even the airport of Dubai, flights, it's always a problem to get things out. That's a clear example. So he mentioned one aspect, which is, but clearly we have a generator in Brikama, one of our generators there. The parts are caught up in Dubai. They can come, up till today. So we are looking at alternative routes to see how best we can ship this. Okay. Now, if we have to use the Cape of Good Hope, it's going to take a much longer time for these parts to arrive. So yes, it's a contributing factor, the conflict in the Middle East, and Gambia is part of the global world.
Absolutely. One of the reasons. You call it.
Yes.
So give us the other reasons. You said that's one of the reasons why we're having this problem. So I can assume that there are other reasons.
The other reasons,
explore other reasons.
So if you look at the supply chain disruption is one aspect, but again, he did mention, Mr. So did mention, that we also get a chunk of our energy, from abroad. So we import energy into the country, okay, through the OMVG line. So that short supply also causes a deficiency in terms of power supply in the Gambia here. So he did explain that from the very onset, so that is another reason that, would be. But again, we got to be conscious as well. Now, if we go back to the supply side as well, we mentioned parts, spare parts, and materials. At the moment, there is no cry over fuel at the moment. We have our fuel supply, and we have a good quantity of HFO in storage, which may take up to maybe 4 months, usage. But even if this war ends today, even if it ends today, the supply chain disruption would continue, and it will stay with us for a while, okay? Because oil production, before you can get it, may take another 4 to 6 weeks. Oil markets, before they can settle down, may take another 4 to 8 weeks. Before you normalize the shipping, may also take another 2 months. So if it stops today, and we are not seeing light under the tunnel for this war to stop, So that means the stock we have in terms of our HFO, may deplete. So that's why we are doing every effort at the moment to secure more HFO, to acquire more storage space to keep it, so that any eventualities we can fall back on.
So
but the cost on that is also enormous, because we've seen the pump price of fuel have gone up significantly. If you go to the petrol stations at the moment,
that's true.
They've increased significantly, and HFO price as well has doubled at the moment. So this is all going to add to our bottom line, which is cost, for the organization. So we need to factor that as we are discussing into this.
So which areas are more affected, Mr. Sow?
Presently, the load setting affects only the GBA. When I say the GBA, is from Banjul all the way to Kalaji. This is the GBA. This is the network that is affected. The rural operations is exempted from the load setting, considering the minimal load that is connected within the provinces. So the areas affected only GBA.
Wow.
What's the scale of the problem now? The prospects, projections. Where are we? Where are we heading?
So in terms of the prospect, the projections and all this, we've issued a public notice last week on the 2nd of April, to our customers to say clearly, yes, we will get into load shedding, and we've published a load shedding roster. Yes, we will have in a day at least 8 feeders would go out, so that will go maybe about 8 hours for people connected around these areas, on these feeders. But we've seen this scale down significantly, early this week. We've seen this drop down significantly. We started the week with all the areas would come on, okay? But we've also, last night, we had about 4 areas, 4 feeders were off, so we can say clearly 4 areas were out in terms of last night. So it varies, When we have enough, we'll give it out to everybody. When we don't have, then certainly certain feeders would come out. But you see, what we want to do in NAWEC is just to give the population a heads up that we've seen the headline from certain newspapers today that says NAWEC admit they are in crisis. We are not in crisis.
Okay.
And that I must say very clearly. We are not in crisis. Okay. The reason we called a press conference yesterday is to give heads up, to our customers, that the world is in crisis, not NAWEC.
So that's it. We are not in crisis. How would you characterize our situation right now?
So our situation is to play safe. Our situation is to play safe. The little resources we have, how do we really manage these little resources we have? Considering the peculiarity of our nation, we're a small country. We don't have a lot of endowment in terms of minerals or resources. So what we have, the limited resources we have, how do we really conserve this? To ensure that, that's why yesterday in our press conference, we even dwelt on conservation, energy conservation, to educate our customers. How they should go about in terms of conserving energy. Switch off appliances that are not necessary. It's not about you can afford cash power, that you buy cash power and then you can utilize it anyhow you like. No, if you don't need it, don't put the equipment on. And if you are switching it off, switch it from the source, the socket, so that at least the little resources, we conserve it and then it can be distributed to as many people as possible. That's what we are promoting. So our press conference is basically a heads up to the populace that the world is at crisis. And in difficult times, we need to do ABCD, so that at least the little we have, we manage it. The fuel stock, the LFO, the light fuel, the HFO, our engines, and all this.
So I just want to understand, Mr. Sow, what is going to be the long-term strategy for NAWEC? I mean, to make sure these things doesn't happen. Can't we get enough of it? We store it here. In case of this kind of crisis arises, we would be able to use it so that we don't even feel, what we are feeling now. Can't we do that?
Yeah, I think the issue here is not per se presently the gap of generations against connected load. Is the generation gap that is present issue presently. And going forward, maybe we may have an issue of fuel. Presently, we have an issue of spare part. That should have been here to ensure that that component of our generation component would have been available for generation. But because of the crisis, we could not get those parts to get those two engines on, because you are looking at around 20 megawatt shortfall. And presently, if you check our gap, it's around 25 megawatt. If those engines, those spare parts were not delayed, we would have not gone into this extensive load setting, 20 megawatt. You can see those who live around Yundum and others, Willingara area, they do have load setting, because the network, some of the networks are constrained. They cannot offload what is required during peak period. Most of the time we do load setting, but not to this extent. You understand? This is as a result of the delay that we were faced to get our spare part here on time as a result of the war. You understand? That's what created all this gap. We understand, yes, during the dry season, our hydro energy would not be available to a certain extent. So that was why we have this mitigating measure to ensure that that 20 megawatt that we were expected to lose would have been here, at least to ensure that there would not have been any load shedding, except the minimal that we are doing on the constrained network area, that is the airport and the like. Yes.
dëgg la mbokk yi ñu ngi leen a jaajëfal, ñu ngi am fi Mr Pathé Sow bàyyi ko Nawek ak Sana Touré réeréewu leen mbir ne fan yi gis ngeen courant bi am na yenn area yoo xam ne dafa dem, am na yoo xam ne dafa ñëw, ñii ñu am ñale duñ am. Loolu la ñoo waxtaanee tey. Bugga nañ rek si kaalaama olof pour yéen ñi nga xam ne na ngeen seetaan ngeen mun a xam lan moo nekk di xew. Pathé buggoon nañ pour nga waxal nit ñi lan moo nekk problème bi fu mu nekk nii.
Asalaamaaleykum suma mbokk yi, suma customers yi, first and foremost maa ngi leen ay jégalu. Xam naa ne ci time yi tàngaay lañ nekka, peak period nga xam ne most of the time yéen some of you da ngeen dee gis ne power bi 24/7 la woon. Fan yi from the 2nd of April gis ngeen ne during peak period power bi dafa dem off alternatively during peak period. Lu ko waral mooy dañ am a gap. Gap bi mooy suñ generating capacity against the connected load, that is customers in connect suñ système bi dafa am gap bu fa nekka. So suñ generating capacity munuta supply during peak period every customer at that time. So li ñu resort to mooy since mënuñu supply ku nekka dañ am pour load set. Load set gap bi mooy around 20 megawatt during peak period, but it varies on the temperatures, because su tàngee ba tànga ku nekka dafa use fanam, ACM and the like. So da nga gis ne then difference bi dafa gën a bari around 20 megawatt, but it can come as low as 15 megawatt to 10 megawatt during that period too. So da ngay gis ne outage bi li Sana doon wax ne pour ñu jéem a conserve suñ énergie bi dafa gën a wàññi the number of customers that will be out during that period. So ci loolu lañ nekka. So da ngay gis ne léegi-léeg da ngay dem off for 8 hours ñëwaat on for 16 hours during the day for 24 hours. So ci lii lañ nekka presently, waaye we hope ne spare part bi ñu expect bi waroon a cushion that gap mu ngi stock on the way, and if possible, if it is here as soon as possible, we should be able to fill that gap. Réeréewu leen biir ne dañ dee import energy from Guinea, Hydro or Senegal. Presently ci dry season lañ nekka, te xam ngeen ne dry season ndox bi du dee bari, te léeg-léeg ndox a ko dee dawal. Su ndox bi bariwut dafa wàññeeku, gisoon nañ loolu. So loolu taxoon ñu ngi doon gaawantu pour suñ 20 megawatt yi Brikama 3 mu mun a ñëw on time balaa ñu egga ci this dry season. so looloo warat gap bii nii so we hope balaa yaaga part bi dinañ ko am te suñ 20 mégawatt boobu noonu su ñëwee on di ngeen gis ne dinañ mun a normalize système bi as it used to be. Yeah.
Sarah will do that in Mandinka. Hanisa Androng nga jele ko ni wato ko no kurang katala kana dula dol ka soto dol buka soto so akumayata le pour mole ñin seneyande na mol la millialon ko e ba jibe ka.
Okay. Koya fo ñame ñama kenna le jabiro sambanang jan nga dati folo nga na customer le ngeten nge hako dani ñi wato kono e kola ko men soto courant la soto la karola banko kanja ñi mu fenete me yalon ko ay GBL affect baake ani West Coast region wala Greater Banjul area ani West Coast region ay wala affect baake ni tata la ko to amantari je banko la karola but wo customer mel be GBA ani West Coast region be hako dan na baake nga fo ñi manken dia kote because ni ajibe koma lanto demanding kurango stable ta dula betole ñing keta ñin lokun tambilalati kananan biti lola wala be cering bar kale ku wolle li o sabu wala antinna dundaw kono so be hako dan nga foy fanan amantar sinola mba kata kanne pour ka kolbe sambane nyantana la na nyame ja and mine o sabu fanan wala mu kurango men ka dundina pour ka janjandi customer ani mol mel sulata courant la wala siyata ntel ka supply o men soto betem bo mento o supply o le kale dañi asunta dalilol lel nga masigon soto le mel yalon ko yanta tamala bari manta tama kam betem bo mento mene antini man tama wala mu jorawol mel nyante tamandila nga dol odanan ne pour yenanan butu dunia dun takale ko kono amance gambia donti bo dunia dun takale ko kono middle east le conflict ay na fengo dol muta silo kan imam futano hanisay so wo kerambul kole ya ko tele pour ka generator dol tamande bar fanan nka courant fanan do fanan bondi nan ka bon nan bantala banko kan nan wo bantala banko kan men kana fanan wol fanale kale da sotola kara dol la so nyilbe kafta nyoma anata kembul kole ya ko de kana na futandi nyanta men futandula na customer so nga gab men soto wala mu nga seko men soto je abele ko about 20 megawatt what difference la beje wala mu nga men samba nan ani men customer kata so kaw futandi wala antinna nka dula dol fa nse fa dula dol fa fo montro wadi sey nge bula ye mala fo montro wati tang ani wor tilokono mbewo ke kanne banni ajibe fanam fango walo kun tambila asembo warta wala saimbe tembo mento atarata baka dula jamalto so mbal hako dan la mbal fola aliye sabari aliye munyanye mba kata kanne mbe kato beke kanne pour kana courant murun nan ay futalma anyanta futala nyame nyam
Yeah. Mr. Mboj, we were talking about renewable energy this morning. How are we going to resort to renewable energy? I hope that we are thinking along that line as well, Mr. So.
Yes, indeed. We have already installed a 23 megawatt solar plant in Jambur, and we are working on a 50 megawatt in Soma, which will be escalated to 150 megawatt. And it's work in progress, but you can see renewable is good, but you must have the right infrastructure in place to ensure that you are able to offload your renewable, because renewable you need to install backups. It is either your generators or you install batteries, and it is very expensive. So, and your network too should be able to offload that capacity. This is why NAWEC, if you can see the past years, there has been a lot of investment in that area on the TND and on the distribution system to ensure that we reduce our losses and then network efficiency. All those things are geared towards the introduction of renewable into our system. Yeah.
Yes, and with me, I'm trying to get my head around something. Because in analyzing our current situation, we've bandied around the concept of generating capacity not being where it should be, right? We've also talked about it's a dry season. We've also talked about we don't have the parts. How are they connected? Because one really wants to isolate the contribution of what's happening right now, and this thing started not long ago, and what's been around, the structural issues that we've been dealing with, isn't it? So I really do not know how to connect. Is it generating capacity that's our problem? Is it the dry season? Is it the lack of parts? I'm really not sure.
Okay. So to answer your question, Mr. Mboj, these are all very much interrelated.
All right.
And they are all making impact in terms of our generation capacity. Okay? When you don't have the spare parts that are necessary to keep the engines running, the engines will be down. So that impacts on your generation capacity. Okay? Now, he mentioned hydro, you know, where that was a source of power. So if it is rainy season, water volumes increase, you know, and the dams would work effectively in Guinea, and they will supply us good quantity of energy. Where in the dry season, water quantity is quite very low, you know, to support the dam to function effectively. So they are not supplying any electricity along that line.
So should we expect this every dry season?
Yes, and we are expecting that. Every dry season, that's the norm. Okay? Now, where the fallback is to get our own generation here, our engines should run. And the parts that need to support that running, you know, that is why I said, you know, it coincided with this war in the Middle East. Most of these things all come through shipment. It's the cheapest shipping route that shipping lines would use, you know, or airports that we will, but I mean, they got stuck. So it's quite very difficult.
When did we order for this spare part?
Oh, you can order a spare part for more than 6 months ago. Huh? They will have to manufacture some of these parts.
More than a year.
Yeah, some can even be an year.
So we order on a needs basis. We wait until maybe the spare part, the part we are using isn't working.
It doesn't work that way.
Okay, how does it work?
Engines are scheduled for maintenance after certain hours.
Yeah.
You understand? And you need running spares when your engine is running, that you have, because there are defects here and there, that you need those spare at least when it is running. And you need your major spare parts for overhaul, because when your engine runs to certain number of hours, you have to shut it down for major overhaul. That is that's a requirement that you have to do. And those overhauls are the ones that are delayed, not the running spares. You understand? I just want to add, NAWEC, we are into business one way or the other, even though we are not profit making. You understand? The generators that we are using, the reason why we are importing, because we felt the energy that we are getting outside is cheaper, is hydro, is cleaner. You understand? But the energy that we are generating internally here is far above our tariff that we are getting for our customers. And remember, now most of our costs relate to the dollar. You understand? All your spare parts, nothing is produced here. Even a line tap, you have to procure it outside. You understand? And all those things are hard-earned currency that you have to use. So that is the reason why the importation is not that we are importing because we don't have it here, but because it is cheaper. So that at least to fill that gap, because you can see what we are getting from our customers. Again, what we are spending is a big gap. So the renewable or the hydro that we are getting, that is the one that is cushioning, filling that gap, so that at least the going concern now can at least continue operating minimally. We are not there to make profit, but at least we should continue operating. You understand? So that is why our strategy is to ensure when that cheap energy is not available, at least what we have, the expensive one, during 3-4 months, we are able to operate them. The government is giving us subvention depending on what, you understand? So that cushion, because they cannot give everything, is minimized. So this is the strategy that NAWEC is doing. And unfortunately, what happened, that 20 megawatt, that should have been operating now. It should have been available there, packed. Unfortunately, it is not because of this delay. It should have been there. When this happened, because we know this is what is going to happen. Hydro will be low, and definitely we need to revert to our own. And now we don't have that hour. That 20 megawatt, go to Birkama, this is a new brand engine, 2 of them, 20 megawatt. This should have been here to cushion that gap. So unfortunately, because of the delay, we could not.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. So what is the timetable like? I heard there is a timetable. What is it like, Mr. Ture?
You mean timetable in coming back to normalization?
Yes, yes. Maybe, okay, today this area will not have power at night. Maybe tomorrow we will have this area.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we have a load shedding roster that is being published out. Maybe Mr. So can take us through this load shedding roster.
Yeah, the time is open because it all depends how soon we should be able to get those spare parts here to get those 20 megawatt back. If that 20 megawatt it's available, yes, we are operating, remember, engines, and there can be any other failure on the operating engine. And if that happen, the running spares are not enough to get those engine back, definitely we will be faced with the similar situation. If what is happening in Iran, Israel, and the Middle East is continues, then definitely we will continue in this path. Yeah.
Yeah. So finally.
But I wonder what normalization will look like. What would it look like? Would it have, because from what I've heard, it cannot possibly be uninterrupted power supply for sustained periods because of there are structural things within, isn't it? What would normalization look like?
So the normalization aspect, if you look at it, is, and then we have this already in program. We want to, yesterday we had a press conference. In that press conference, we highlighted very clearly how it is going to look, the forward projection in terms of how it will all look. So looking at our various power stations, the engines that are down, what is happening on each one of them, we've highlighted them. We will see, we will see some engines that will come on, as early as, before Friday or so, So that would all close the gap, Like he said, the deficiency is 20 megawatt. How do we close that gap? So we are counting every megawatt that a generator would pump in, we are counting that. So when we did our counting, we realized, we kind of projected that, in a week time or 2 weeks, certainly we might close that gap, and then, we will get a normalization in terms of power supply. But I mean, this also depends on a whole host of factors. Do we get those spare parts as quickly as possible that are stuck, in transit or not? But that's how we are working. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr.
I was almost going to ask, what's the worst case scenario? Because things are so volatile, we do not know for how long it will go. What might be the worst case scenario for us without the parts, without the fuel? We'll go for 24 hours without electricity for a long time.
I don't think so.
No, we don't foresee that to happen.
Well, nobody knows.
The worst case scenario,
we have no idea how
the
far
worst
this
case
can
scenario
go.
cannot exceed 12-hour hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely, and 12 hours.
But like
we don't
we
foresee
said,
that to happen.
Like we said, we have seen significant improvement.
Yeah.
Last week it was even worse. You see, because it was 8 hours in some areas, up to 8 to 9 feeders were out. But this week it has reduced significantly.
I've seen the improvement. I've felt the improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think last week, is it a few days back, I was part of those that were without electricity. But now I'm seeing it somehow changing.
Yeah.
And I hope the dynamics is going to be resolved very soon.
Yes,
absolutely. And we will go back to normal.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Mr. Ture, and of course, Mr. So, for coming on the program.
Yeah.
And let's keep working, let's keep pushing, and communicating to the general public is also very important. Yeah. So thank you. Mr. Mboj, this is all we have for today.
But earlier on, you told your viewers that we are going to have Imam Usman.
Well,
Imam, so apologize to the viewers.
Imam is not coming again. We will do Imam Usman Jan next week. So until then, we'll be back here tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye.